Working group on the Voice to Parliament has begun a meeting this afternoon in Canberra. The Prime Minister is there. The opposition leader, Peter Dutton, is joining shortly via a Zoom call. We can bring you these remarks from the Prime Minister at the start of the talks, just into our newsroom today.
Well, can I say thank you for the third time I've been able to meet with this working group, and thank you for the extraordinary work that you are doing. Importantly, thank you for your patience with the process. I'm very hopeful about and optimistic about an outcome later this year. The government is determined to hold a referendum in accordance with the wishes arising from the Uluru Statement from the Heart. And in spite of some of the misinformation, I congratulate you on your advocacy around the country. I know that Marcia and Marcus, I think, were at a forum last night in Melbourne, and there is momentum building around the country. There are public meetings. I've had meetings with church organisations, with sporting organisations, with businesses, including in Western Australia yesterday, reaffirming that they are strongly supportive of a constitutionally enshrined voice to our Parliament. And we know that as we get down to the campaign end, there are two clear messages of what it's about: recognition and consultation. Simple as that. Recognising First Nations people in our nation's birth certificate, and then enshrining consultation about matters that impact on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And we know that that is the way to get better outcomes and to close the gap, which is there in too many areas. So my government is very committed to this. We'll continue to put everything into this campaign, and I know that increasingly this will be an opportunity to bring the nation together. And one of the things that strikes me that I say to people is, you know, when I was growing up, and not too far from Redfern, where there was a substantial urban Indigenous community, there was no such thing as a acknowledgement or welcome to country. I never heard that. Never heard that. And now, whenever you go, when my local church, whether it's a sporting event, whether it be any national event, it's just a matter of course. Any childcare centre, including the early learning centre downstairs here, it's fantastic to hear. Quite often the youngest Australians learn some Indigenous language as well, and to pay respect to the traditional owners. And that's just something that schools went back in the last week. Most schools in the country, public and private, will have had a smoking ceremony or an acknowledgement or welcome to country, something that acknowledges the fullness and richness of our history, and the opportunity that we have to show respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, but also to, I think, uplift non-Indigenous Australians, to give us a more confident sense of self and who we are as Australians, whether we are the newest arrivals who got their citizenship last week, or whether it be Indigenous Australians is, I think, substantial. And also as well the way that Australia is perceived in the region and in the world, whether we are a mature nation that can indicate that we don't hide from the fullness of our history, is, I think, a really important moment for the country. And I want to thank all of the referendum working group for the hard work that you're doing. I know you'll be hearing from the Leader of the Opposition later this afternoon. That's a good thing. I'd encourage him and Julia and Lisa to engage. I want everyone possible to be a part of this journey towards reconciliation, this important next step. and my door's been open the whole way through. I do note that since I put forward draft wording in the Constitution, very clear draft wording, in recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders as Australia's first peoples, and then the 3 points. 1, there shall be a voice. 2, it shall be consulted on matters which affect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and 3, the Parliament will determine the structure, etc. No one yet in this Parliament across the spectrum has come up with an alternative word or sentence, but I'm up for it. This is something that has come, as you know, from the bottom up, has come from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, yourselves, and that is why it's so important that this is successful, and I assure you of my personal commitment as well as the government's commitment going forward.
Thank you, Media.
The Prime Minister there in Canberra this afternoon addressing a meeting of the Voice to Parliament working group. As soon as that finishes, Anthony Albanese will meet with the Chief Minister of the Northern Territory, Natasha Fyles, over the response to a report recommending the return of alcohol restrictions in the Northern Territory.